Shenanigans.
You want to talk
Okay.
about this museum, this British museum getting roasted? Tell us about it.
Yes. Some shenanigans for you guys. So an employee at the British Museum was actually fired recently, and the Metro Police launched an investigation after a number of items at the British Museum's collection, from the British Museum's collection, were found to be missing, stolen, and damaged. So the majority of the items were like small pieces that were kept in a storeroom, and they belonged to one of the museum's collections. This included gold jewelry and some semi-precious gemstones and glass dating back to the 15th century BC, to the 19th century AD. So the museum called in the police. They imposed emergency measures to increase security, set up an independent review into what actually happened, and lessons to learn. So they did all of this, and the British Museum said it's a sad day for all those who love our British Museum, but we're determined to right the wrongs and use the experience to build a stronger museum. Human rights lawyer mentioned that the trustees of the museum have become the world's largest receivers of stolen property, and the great majority of their loot is not even on public display. So, given the history behind how the museum acquired its artifacts, people pointed out the irony of this situation. So, guys, do you think that this museum deserves it? And should they be receiving any public support for these stolen artifacts?
Ooh, that was a long intro. All
I
right.
know. Sorry.
Good
I had to
Lord.
give you some
That
background.
was a lot of background. Good Lord. All right. Like she read the article like to herself. All right.
No, I think I did it.
All right, Robbie, go ahead. Talk to us.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
no,
what do you think?
to answer the question, no, they don't deserve this. Nobody does. And it really saddens me that people aren't realizing that humanity has lost out on these treasures that were being curated by the British Museum. So the artifacts that have disappeared now belong in private collections, and they're not going to be seen again for years, if ever again. So, yes, they should be getting public support to have these items recovered. Now, as for the bigger picture, as far as museums are concerned, I will say this: the artifacts should be returned to the countries of origin because they were excavated at a time when this really wasn't part of the mindset. It was just, hey, let's cultivate all of these artifacts for history. Now, if we return them to the countries of origin can then loan out the artifacts so that they're part of traveling exhibits that visit different parts of the world, and human culture and history needs to be shared with humanity. It's I want to get Neo's thoughts, and then I just want to share some of my observations when I was at the Greek National Museum a few years ago.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about stolen artifacts. I mean, it's like, you know, pot calling kettle black. Because the British Museum has, I mean, it's got the Benin bronzes from Nigeria, the Rosetta Stone from Egypt, the Koh-i Noor. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. The diamond from India and the Ethiopian tablets. I mean, and they've
Oh my
all been
goodness.
these have all been
What?
requested to be returned back to their countries, right? And these are just examples of items that were taken out of their
Wow.
countries and requested to be returned, and the museum refuses to do it. So,
Wow.
I mean, it's equivalent to like an art thief complaining someone swiped his favorite painting and calling the police and saying, "Hey, someone took my painting." I mean,
Mhm.
it's a lot of
Yeah.
irony, and I see it. But you know, I don't know. I don't know that they should be getting any type of public support for this. And it's, I will say these relics are valuable. They're important. We understand museums, they share a lot of history, historical
Yeah, they do.
information. I mean, we learn a lot from museums like this. We learn a lot of history, learn a lot of culture, and that's fantastic. But again, when we're dealing with an organization that has taken things and refused to return them, I mean, you can't. I mean, you can't then be complaining about stolen artifacts. It's just not, doesn't make sense.
And the artifacts that were stolen weren't even on public display, though. So there were something
It's an
that,
inside job, clearly.
yeah,
Yeah, and it's not like I don't know. It's
not to make it
yeah,
better. Not that it's a better thing.
right. But I know that when I was in Greece, it was really amazing to see that, like, for example, if you look at the top piece of the building in the news clipping, so they had that on display in Greece. And it was just amazing because some of it was the original pieces. And there was a picture or placard that explained where all these pieces were, when they were excavated, and
Nice.
the spots where they were missing or were part of other museum exhibits, they had replicas in place. So in this day and age of 3D printing, you can have a replica in place. And I know that they have petitioned the other museums to have the artifacts returned. And Neo, I'm with you. Like, they should be with the country of origin. Those artifacts should absolutely be returned.
Especially
There's no
once
question.
requested. If the
Yeah, if they
countries are
ask for
saying,
it
"Hey,
back.
I want my artifacts back." I mean, granted, they have exceptional
Absolutely.
value. I mean, the Rosetta Stone. I mean, really. I mean, that's like.
and it's
Yeah.
what people are failing to recognize. I mean, there's a false equivalency that's being made where, okay, well, the stuff was stolen from someone who stole. Okay, but if it was another museum stealing the stuff to put it on display or put it in their gallery, then that's an equivalent crime. But this is someone who's stealing privately to those.
Okay.
And I mean, some of these artifacts, if they're precious gems and jewels, if they don't have a buyer lined up, that thing is going to get cut up into smaller gems and it's going to get sold off for whatever the street value is. And we're going to lose that cultural value. We're going to lose that cultural piece forever. So yeah, there should be public support to recover these items because we all lose when it goes into a private collection or it just disappears to the streets.
Yeah.
I just feel like had it been in the place it was supposed to be in the country of origin,
It still could have got stolen. I mean.
I'm joking. No, I think it's horrible, but I think that I think the irony is interesting. I think the irony is interesting, but I don't think that they deserved it. I don't think that thievery is a good thing in any instant. But I mean, the irony of it all. Hey, I don't.
I mean, they didn't deserve it, but I
They didn't
mean,
deserve it. But hey.
I mean, but we should still be talking. We should still be talking about returning these things to their rightful owners. I'm hoping that it serves as a wake up.
Please.
I can't talk. Wake up call for the
Yeah.
museum to kind of like reevaluate its practices. I'm hoping this roasting that they got makes them think, because they can change. I mean, I think there's a few artifacts they probably would not give up, but there's a few that they can give up and
Right.
save some face. I mean, I hope it at least brings some attention and gets them to kind of rethink the way they're doing things.
They have a lot of
Hopefully.
good ones there. The British Museum.
Yeah.
They have a lot of good stuff there.
Mike Winter's
They
response:
got the
someone
goods.
stole their stolen artifacts. I don't care very much. All right. Is this truth, lies, shenanigans?
This is some truth and
Hmm.
shenanigans for me.
It's definitely shenanigans.
Yeah, there's so much shenanigans going on that I have to go with shenanigans.
Yeah,
can't-
it's like what?
I can't buy into the whole.
What?
You have to be bold to
someone
steal
stole their
from
stolen
your own
artifacts.
job.
That's perfectly written. I'm not buying into that.